Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Something Saturday where we talk about things we didn't get to talk about the rest of the week, and we have to talk about Beetlejuice. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so if you are a child of the 80s, chances are you know exactly who Beetlejuice is, because Beetlejuice is one of those classic movies. However, even if you aren't a child of the 80s, chances are you've seen this movie. It has become an absolute cult classic, and rightly so. For a lot of people growing up in the 80s, this movie was a lot of fun. And even into the early 90s, people knew exactly what this movie is, and it hasn't lost traction. In fact, all it's done is gain this level of cult classic that allows people to continue wishing that this movie had a sequel. And well, eventually a sequel came to fruition. However, not before there was a play. There was a play of this movie. Apparently in the play, Lydia is dealing with the death of her mother. Now, jump forward, we now have a sequel to the movie. This movie deals with the death of Lydia's father. And we know this because Jeffrey Jones isn't in the movie. They have a funeral. We're looking at this funeral. And if you look really closely, apparently you can see a small little glimpse of Jeffrey Jones' face, because it is him that's supposed to have died. Now, the reason he isn't in the movie is due to real life incidences and real life crimes that he committed, and this is understandable. You wouldn't want to put him in the movie due to the crimes he's committed in the past, and that's fine. But the movie was amazing, and this movie looks like it's going to be amazing. The trailer has Jenna Ortega riding through the town, and you see her from overhead. Now, what makes this cool is that when you're watching her overhead, it looks like the very same scene, except that in the original scene, we were looking at the model built by Alec Baldwin. Now, we are in fact looking at the actual town this time, and not the model that Alec Baldwin built. But other than that, we do get to see the rest of the town. We get to see the town the way it is today. But then we also eventually do catch a glimpse of this model in the movie, and we get to see Alec Baldwin's model come to life. You might remember in the movie that Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis owned the house, and then the others moved in. And when they moved in, that's when Lydia found this model of this small little town, the small model of the town. Well, now it is Jenna Ortega's character that finds the model of the small town, and it is her that will encounter Beetlejuice first. She even goes over the same bridge in the trailer that we saw Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis die on in the movie. If you look really closely, you can see pumpkins in the scene, which hints that this movie probably does take place around Halloween. Which is all kinds of cool, because thinking about Tim Burton's other work, a lot of his work is very gothic, is very scary-esque, has those Halloween vibes. Lest we forget that he is the man behind Nightmare Before Christmas. So that is a nice little callback, I think, to that. But then also, if you look close at the trailer, you're going to find all these little subtle hints of things from the past. The house is the same. The town is exactly the same. Everything is the same. Well, then we get to Lydia's character. And that's where everything's kind of cool, because we know that Jenna Ortega's character is the one who kind of messes things up for the family, unleashes Beetlejuice. And we know this because in the trailer, we see her find the little miniature town. And when she finds the little miniature town that he created, it's at that point that Winona Ryder comes in. And Winona Ryder coming into this whole thing, she sees what's happened, and she sort of is understandably freaked out. Then cue Beetlejuice, just emerging from the miniature town. And he says, "The juice is loose." So I imagine that this happens very early on in the movie. Now, what exactly does all this mean for the movie? What do I think will happen? Well, let's break it down. Due to the fact that we know they're coming home for a funeral, like I said, this funeral is more than likely going to be Jeffrey Jones's character's funeral. So Lydia's father will be dead, and the rest of the family has come back to this place, which maybe means that they were separated. They could, in fact, have been separated or divorced by this point, Lydia's mother and Lydia's father. Maybe things didn't work out. He stayed in the little town, in that house, and she moved on. So, or maybe, just maybe, Lydia moved on, because that's kind of what I've heard, is that Lydia left and that they're moving, she's coming back because of the death with her own teenage daughter, played by Jenna Ortega. You have Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder, and then Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega plays the character of Astrid, who is Lydia's daughter. Now, Willem Dafoe comes in as some sort of undead detective, but we don't get to see him in this trailer. We don't really get to see him in this trailer, so he's still kind of a mystery in terms of what character he's going to play. However, I think they probably go to him to try to help to solve the mystery of what happened to Astrid. I actually believe that Astrid probably disappears during this movie, and that's what is in fact happening. We're going to get to see Jenna Ortega's character possibly taken to the afterlife by Beetlejuice. A lot of the movie in the previous one took place outside of Beetlejuice's realm. I think we could see a reversal. I think we could get to see the undead part of society, the underworld. We could get to see that instead of everything else. See the afterlife and how that situation goes. Maybe Jenna Ortega's character doesn't go by force. Maybe she goes willingly into this afterlife. And it's up to Lydia to save her. So I think that might be where they go here, honestly. The trailer doesn't give us a whole lot in terms of that to go on, just tells us kind of the synopsis of what the movie is about. But if they're going to take this movie in a new direction and take it in some way that we haven't seen before, I think that's probably the way to do it. I don't know that this is going to be the way it is, so don't take this as fact, but I really do think that it's a possibility that this movie could flip everything from the first movie and a lot more of this movie take place in the afterlife. Think of it this way. Jenna Ortega is sort of the new muse of Tim Burton, starring in Wednesday. And then we get to see Winona Ryder come back as Lydia, and Lydia's character spent a lot of the time trying to get there. This coupled with the fact that the actress ended up being on Stranger Things as a mom of one of the characters having to deal with the upside down. I think it's actually very plausible that they'll play into some of that as well. Inside jokes, because Beetlejuice always kind of did have a way of kind of creating this meta, this type of inside knowledge to the real world from the fictional character's point of view. Even his line about the juice is loose is a reference to the O.J. Simpson situation, which is a little bit meta and real life. You know, it sort of gives him this knowledge of real life situations. I think that having them play into the fact that Lydia may have to go and rescue her daughter and go to the afterlife herself would be a really cool way to flip the switch from what happened in the original movie. As always, we want to know what you guys think. Make sure you're leaving us that comment in the comment box below, letting us know what you think. Make sure you share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of the conversation as well. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's free. It helps the channel, and we appreciate it. Miko says we need more subscribers. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. Then, friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.